Hi, this is Keiko from Brooklyn Shoe Space. This is Shoe Talks Quarantine Edition. Today I'm inviting Rachel from Rachel Sees Snail Shoes, based out of Portland, Oregon. I've been a fan of her work for over 6 years, maybe beginning of Instagram time. She actually came to teach in our space before we moved into our current space a long time ago. I actually didn't get to meet her in person because it was summertime, I believe, and I was away. But I'm really excited to see her. I think she joined, so I'm going to invite her in or on. All right. Okay. Really frizzy hair today. All right. Hi. Hi. How are you?
Good.
Oh, you look fab.
Thanks. It's so nice to
So good to
talk.
meet you in kind of in face to face. We've emailed a couple
I
times
know,
and
but
all
I weirdly feel like I know you. I don't know how,
that. Yeah, with all the social media stuff.
I guess.
Um, how are you doing during this quarantine?
I'm doing okay, actually. I'm lucky in a lot of ways and using it as an excuse to uh, go inward and do all the things that I don't normally get to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I've been pulling away from work a little bit,
Oh, okay.
or
What
just
kind of,
changing up my work
great.
routines.
Okay. What kind of things do you pop in there that's not normal routine?
Well,
Like,
I still come in. This is my studio, and I still come in and dabble with sandals and shoemaking projects. But I don't know. I'm just using the new set of rules as an excuse to work less and do more side projects, and obviously
um,
teach
yeah,
100% less.
yeah, right, right. But then
Hopefully.
hopefully in-person classes come back, or do you think everything will move online?
No, I mean,
No.
I do want to do a new online class because my one class through what's it called?
Skillshare?
Skillshare
Yeah.
is several years old now. It might be like 4 years old, and I can just
Wow.
do such an updated version. So I hope to get to that in the next few weeks.
Great.
But generally, I'm in this business because I love the in-person classes, and
Yeah.
hanging out all day and making things together is
Yeah.
my favorite part of what I
Yeah.
do. So I'm not
Right.
willing to give that up at all.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. Okay, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Do we get a little tour of your space? You always have beautiful like imagery and like it's so spacious in my mind. Like
Thanks.
it looks really spacious where you are.
It is. It's a special spot. I can show you around. I'm not great with cameras and stuff, but let's see. So here's my little wall of some shoes.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Nice. Do you share with
yeah,
somebody else? Do you share the space
yeah.
with
And
somebody
then
else?
I share the space with my friend M. Can you see her? She's a
Hi.
framer.
Oh,
She
wow.
makes custom picture frames.
Wow.
So like this kind of work. Um,
Wow.
yeah, she's a
That's
very,
inspiring. I feel like you guys are a great match.
we are a great match and we're good friends. And then I'm working on um, some mules and
Uh-huh.
sandals, that
Uh-huh.
sort of thing. I just got this weird old square and pointy pair of lasts. Could you see it okay?
No, I can't see it. Hold
Oh,
on.
sorry.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's a vintage. Does it
Yeah,
have
from an
the,
antique store. You know, sometimes you can find
yeah,
a match
yeah.
at an antique store.
Does it have a
Um,
break in it? Does it kind of break?
no,
No.
but
Okay.
I don't need it because
Yeah.
you know I usually just
You,
do mules and
mules.
Mary Janes.
Perfect.
Um, and then my other collection of lasts is up there.
Uh-huh. Wait, a little lower?
Um,
Yeah,
oh,
thank you. That's cool. Cool.
yeah,
Your
and then
your
this.
ceiling is really tall. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this
So,
is a former laundry. They did massive amounts of laundry here, and
wow.
I don't know why they needed such a glorious space to do laundry, but and then I also share with a book printer who makes art books. So yeah, that's
Wow.
the whole space, and then
Wow.
lots of
That's
leather,
leather. Yeah. Oh, I
and
actually had a
just
few viewers send me questions.
okay.
Yeah, we'll go to that materials later, but that's cool.
Yeah,
You're very organized and it looks so clean.
thanks.
It's beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah. Where do you get your inspiration from for your work? Colors and like
Oh, well,
styles.
colors, I just have my own idiosyncratic ideas of what colors are make me excited at any
Hmm.
given year. Um, but for shoe designs, I really just look at old histories, history of shoemaking and old art, you know.
Wow. Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
that's a question that someone had written on my post. They wanted to know about how I stay original and not copy
Hmm.
people. And I thought it was such
Hmm.
a good question because,
Yeah.
and she said, like, for beginning shoemakers, herself included, she doesn't really know maybe the rules or like how do you prevent yourself from doing a version of what someone else is doing.
Right.
And I thought about that, and I just thought, like, a lot of people do this, but just instead of focusing on your peers and what they're making, just
Hmm.
try to look for older inspiration because I feel like that's all fair game
Yeah.
and it's a little more authentic.
Hmm.
And then when you are doing versions of shoes, whether they're from the 20s or medieval shoes or something, naturally
Hmm.
your new methods and new materials will
Make it look
guide the
different. Yeah.
process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so, yeah, it's just kind of about like a certain amount of blinders and
Yeah.
just cultivating like a true interest in
Right. And
things.
that's yeah, no, I totally agree. And in your case, because you have a kit and also classes, you do have styles that you recommend people or first timers to make, and they can also alter it if they would like. There's so many ways to kind of make it their own, right? Even though like the classic shape is like a classic shape, there's ways to
Yeah,
like change the edge angle or
totally.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think there's infinite ways to personalize things. And I'm also not that stuck on everyone having an original aesthetic because I think if you're really like following function
hmm,
and what you want and need, like it will be original.
yeah,
But yeah, like for beginners in my kit, for example, I've found a few styles that just are easier to achieve and like a good starting place. But generally, starting with sandals, I think, is
yeah,
a pretty solid idea because it's more forgiving.
yeah,
You
yeah,
probably feel this way maybe in teaching all the different shoe courses, but people can jump straight into shoes. I just, being not like a really great diligent craftsperson myself, like I'm decent, but I like the level that sandal making is on. It's
right. I feel like
forgiving.
you're great at what you do.
Thank
You
you.
know, I mean, I don't think yeah, your craft, your sandals are well made and they're beautiful. So I think it's a little different from like, I wouldn't compare yourself to, say, like, say Marcel with like closed toe shoes, it's
Right.
a
No,
different
no, it's a
craft.
completely different thing.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I think
But I guess
you
I'm
did
just
beautifully.
stressing that it's definitely beginner friendly and
I agree. Yeah.
yeah.
And your classes are at your place for sure, but you also travel to do your classes. And I've seen on your Instagram some beautiful spaces before.
Yeah.
How do you pick a location? Is there like a vacation kind of included into your
That
like
helps. Yeah, it really
yeah.
helps.
Where's your favorite place that you've ever taught before?
Well, I was invited, but I haven't gone because it got pushed back. But to go to this like area in rural France that was like flower farm and flour
Ooh.
mill or something. So
Wow.
that seems really neat, and I hope to do that someday. But I got to go to Hawaii and teach a
Yeah.
class. That was gorgeous. And then
Wow.
I just like
Yeah.
special little places, usually around the West Coast, so I don't have to fly too far with all the tools and leather. But my ideal place to teach is usually somewhat like private groups that are really enthusiastic. Sometimes more than like a craft, school, not school, but like,
I understand. Yeah.
yeah, I like informality. I like
Mm-hmm.
teaching at people's homes or the backyard of
Backyard.
their
Yeah.
shop, so a lot of friends,
Uh-huh.
stores will reach out because they just want to go through the experience. And then I show up and conduct a class for a small group. And yeah, I don't know why I'm so hooked on informality, but like any table or floor will work.
Right. Yeah, so I think it's the accessibility too. I think it's nice that you can do it in your backyard with like minimal
Hmm.
tools and machinery. You have a little bit of machinery you might bring with you, but it's really showing them that like, it's easy, not easy, but like
Yeah,
you can do it for sure. And
yeah.
you without like heavy equipment or
Right. Yeah. Showing it's
yeah,
low key and kind of portable.
yeah,
Um, Also, like there's this kind of growing industry of turning workshops into a business, which I am
right.
all for, and it's a great business.
Hmm.
But sometimes, like as people like you or I who make smaller margins on what we do, and
Yeah,
it can be hard to work that into someone else's business plan
yeah,
and pay
yeah,
taxes and everything. And
yeah,
I just would prefer to kind of gather groups of friends and teach
yeah,
so it's more direct.
right. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Great, great. Um, where time traveling back a little bit. I know you've been doing it for like 10 years. Where did you start?
I was living in San Francisco and I had a pair of my sandals made by a shoemaker in England. But right when they arrived, I put them in my closet and then I had this little fire and all my shoes burned. So the original sandals burned, the remakes burned, and all my other shoes. And then I was able to kind of open up the sandal and see the layers and see how the layers were constructed.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was kind of the inspiring beginning of
Wow.
wanting to try to do it myself because I couldn't really afford to replace them again.
Right.
And I
It's
was dating
tragic.
someone that had some leather, and so I was like starting to
Mm-hmm.
put the pieces together. And so I wrote
Mm-hmm.
to the man in England, a clog maker named Jeremy Atkinson, and he kind of spelled out some basic steps of how I would go about making my own sandals,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's how I started.
Oh,
So
that's
I started on
great.
my bedroom floor
Uh-huh.
using just one hide, a vegetable tan
Mm-hmm.
that was probably pretty thick and not very high quality. It was kind of like from Mexico, like really
Mm-hmm.
thick, and I had to skive down every part to get just the right thickness. And
Thickness. Wow.
but the first pair were successful. I still have them kicking around, and so
Wow.
that was
That's
just a
great.
positive experience,
Yeah,
and
and
I
you can always
kept at it.
repair it. Yeah, if you
Yeah,
need to. Oh,
yeah.
that's great. I mean, you're literally like rising from the flame, what's it
I
called? The ashes?
know,
Oh my
Phoenix.
goodness. That Phoenix. Yeah, that's crazy
But
how, wow.
it took a few years, I think, to look back and realize that that was why I started. It's so blurry
Mm-hmm.
when things are
Yeah.
occurring. You're just like,
In,
I don't know, I'm just making sandals. Yeah. But then I
yeah.
realized that it was all because of that traumatic fire.
Yeah.
Um,
But you love what you do and you keep on doing it, you know?
yeah.
I
And then
mean, 10, mm-hmm.
someone asked, I saw that about how I started teaching. So
Mm-hmm.
pretty soon after I started making my own sandals and making them for friends. And then I had some friends that owned a shop and they were starting to conduct workshops and they asked me to teach one. And I thought, no way, this is way too hard to like get other people to do it all at once. But they convinced me to try it anyway, and that was so fun.
Yeah,
And
I hear you.
yeah, so
It
then
is,
you get hooked.
yeah. Oh, that's great. Oh, I just can't believe you had such a like.
Just beginning. Oops, sorry. And my headphones
Yeah,
just
I know. It was like a stressful year, and it's so true that good things can come out of bad things if because it
yeah,
creates space, you
yeah.
know?
I feel like that's like something true to right now as well. Like
Yeah,
it depends on how you look at it and how you deal with it. And I feel like with artists and makers and we create things. So I think we can get out of this by keep on creating things, and adapting. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I'm optimistic, but yeah, yeah. So so you've been doing it over 10 years or is it like just about 10 years?
I think just 10.
That's 10. Yeah, it's wow.
Yeah, I think the fire was in 2009, and
Mm-hmm.
then I say that I started my business in 2010.
10. All right. All right. Oh, well, I hope yeah. What are you working on right now? Do you have anything else oh, you said you're working on mules and sandals. Is it for yourself or is it for like a client?
No, I was in a period last year of just working on this new book, How to Make Sandals book that will come out next spring, so a whole
Except,
nother year. So I was spending a lot of time photographing that, making all the shoes for that, figuring out how to explain in words
yeah,
all the stuff.
yeah.
So I had gone through a period of like not taking any custom orders, but I'm starting to let them back into my world to make ends meet
Yes.
and just to stay in practice, you
Right.
know.
And is the book kind of in progress? Is this time kind of a good time to hunker down
Well,
and do this or is,
it's kind of out of my hands. I'm done.
oh,
I did all the photographs,
uh-huh,
and it's just now a few more rounds of editing. We're
uh-huh.
gonna have a friend of mine do what's it called? Technical editing, where she gets to make all the projects and make sure that the advice or the instructions make sense.
Wow. Okay. That's cool
Yeah.
that somebody does that. And somebody from the publishing company does it or?
No, she's a local girl that's a sewer because I think that's a lot of people that get into shoemaking
Right.
are sewers.
Yeah.
And so I thought she'd have some of a skill set, but she's never made shoes before. So
Okay.
I thought it might be like the perfect person to try it out.
Right.
And she's going to make 4 or 5 pairs and give us
Okay.
feedback.
Wow. That's great. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing it. Um,
thanks.
there's also other questions from other viewers. Meeker Maid
Yeah.
asked, where do you source your colorful rubber soles? Or if it's a secret, that's okay too. I don't.
Oh, no, it's okay. I get some online, but mostly I get it from Soderma in LA. Um,
Saderma, yes, in
yeah.
LA.
hmm
Hmm. Yeah, they have a
So
lot
I
of.
just call them and place an
Mhm.
order and they ship it up to Oregon. They're probably my favorite cobblery shoemaker suppliers.
Yeah,
Yeah, just really
their
cool.
customer service is great.
Yes.
I like their customer service. Yeah, they're really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what else was there? What weight leather do you usually use for your sandal uppers? And do you have any favorite vendors? It's
Um, Good question. I usually tell people to stick to 4-5
hmm.
because it's just right.
Yeah.
But it depends on your design because if your design covers the foot a lot, you might go a little thinner. And if it is a little strappier, you
Mm-hmm.
might go a little thicker just to have enough stability.
Right.
So it's something you kind of learn with some trial and error, but I think
Sure.
4-5 is the good medium.
Great. Thanks. Thanks.
And as far as my favorite supplier, I think that's such a difficult but like really good question because it kind of depends on your area and what you're comfortable with. So I buy a lot of my leather from Oregon Leather, which is just downtown in Portland.
Oh, that's great.
And it's nice to be able to buy things in person.
Yeah.
But I get things from so many different places.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
okay. Great.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. M. Knox asks, do you create your own last for your sandals? Like, is it like your special sandals last?
No. That would be fun and I would love to someday, but I'm not very proprietary about anything and I'm not very precious about anything. So a lot of the tools I use are pretty basic or cheap. My last
hardware stores as well, like
yeah,
yeah,
totally, yeah. And but actually, now that you mention it, my lasts are unique because I found that I do a lot of pointy toes, and I found a vintage pair of lasts in Mexico probably like 8 years ago, and then I sent that pair to a last maker to do a full size run. So
it's yours.
yeah, it's somewhat mine. It was just like such a precious little soft point shape. And then more recently, in the last few years, had him make a second whole batch with a little more volume in the toe because they were vintage, so they're pretty
narrow.
They're pretty narrow. But the ones with more volume, I just am not as in love with the shape, and lasts are such a nuanced thing. So I might file them away and pick them up. But
yeah, all right, cool. What do you like to make in the future? What kind of styles are you thinking to make in the future?
oh, cool question. It's fun to lay in bed and think about this question. But honestly, my daydreaming has been lately about silly things like weird Rachel Sees Snail Shoes merch. So I just designed a t-shirt and maybe like a handkerchief.
Yes. Oh, like what you're wearing. I love like a soft bandana-y.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I love bandanas, and they're especially handy right now with all the mask wearing.
Yeah. Oh, great.
So I don't know what brought me in that direction, but I just thought, hey, if you have a brand, you might as well like make objects that like are fun.
Yeah, totally. You already have a bag, like a dust bag. You already have a dust bag or no?
I don't. I only have a poster.
Okay.
I don't really have anything. Yeah. Yeah.